Hello, this is my presentation on the evolution of labor laws in America and other countries. During the Industrial Revolution in America, there was actually no laws to protect workers in the harsh work environments of the time. The Industrial Revolution was around 1760 to 1840, and because of how bad the work environment was, people started labor movements pretty soon after that. Labor movements were aimed at protecting workers, getting better wages, safe working conditions, better hours, and stopping child labor. The earliest strike that was recorded was in 1768. It was because of wage reductions for workers. Throughout history, workers continued to practice labor movements until they were finally able to have the Department of Labor created. The president did not want to create it, but he was forced to. Later, in 1935, the Wagner Act was created to allow unions in the workplace. OSHA is a part of the Department of Labor, and they focus on safety and health of workers. OSHA is important because it protects workers from a multitude of hazards in the workplace. For example, because of OSHA, workers cannot be prolongedly exposed to chemicals. Machinery also has to be safe in the workplace. For example, if a worker was using a cutting machine in a fabric factory, there would have to be a lot of safety precautions, as well as other causes that would be related to work, such as having a bad back from being bent. If companies do not follow OSHA's laws, then they will be fined greatly. The production of fashion has changed greatly over the course of the last 300 years or so. Clothing used to be made by hand, and it usually took a very long time until the Industrial Revolution happened and machinery made it much easier to create mass production. Before labor laws were enacted in the United States, many women and children began to mass produce clothing using machines. Nowadays, most clothing in the United States is made by machine solely, with little human intervention. In addition, most of the fashion nowadays is also made overseas. This is because it is cheaper to produce clothing there, since they have less labor laws protecting the workers and how they get paid. Lastly, in comparison to even the fashion that was being created during the Industrial Revolution, clothing has started to be made out of lesser quality materials such as plastic that is not good for the environment, not natural at all, and that is because companies want to produce fashion as cheap as possible to make the biggest profit.